As a follow-up to my first video, I decided to go over some tanking tips to help out some of the new tankers. So in no particular order, here are 6 tanking tips. Number 1. Don't peek. Just like the previous video, the first tip is by far the most important. Unless you need to repair and you're 100% sure it's safe, never peek. I see way too many players get shot out of their tanks as they're driving from spawn to wherever the action is on the map. Just because you can't see or hear the enemy doesn't mean they're not there. There are players, especially Recons, who spend most of the game waiting for tankers to peek. Remember, you're a tanker, not a whack-a-mole target, so act like it. Now, in the event that you do need to repair your tank, there's 2 ways of going about it. First, you can ask a teammate to do it for you. In case your team isn't interested in making free experience, or find yourself on the Soviet faction and communication isn't really possible unless you speak Bliet, try to find a place with a good cover and that's not too far away from your team to pop out and quickly repair. There will be situations in which your tank will be badly damaged and you won't be able to get to a safe spot to repair. In this case, I suggest you be a good captain and just go down with the ship. Number 2. If you lose a tank, deal with it. It doesn't matter how experienced you are, at some point you will either get unlucky or make a mistake which will result in you leaving an empty tank behind. The only thing you shouldn't do in this situation is immediately spawn another one. Deal with the problem you've created, don't just bank on your team covering for you. If you have any spawn points reasonably close to where you lost your tank, I suggest you spawn an infantryman with the fastest vehicle you have and haul ass back to it. If you're close enough, the enemy shouldn't have time to unlock it and you can jump right back in. As long as the tank is yours, you can hop in with any soldier without having to unlock it. If your spawn locations are kinda far away from your tank, spawn a soldier with anti-tank equipment and go deal with it yourself. Also let your team know so that they can either help you kill or recover it. Number 3. Positioning is king. The most important thing as a tanker is making sure you're well positioned on the battlefield. For starters, I recommend sticking close to your infantry as they can help repair and defend you. Position yourself so that you have a good view of the field and also make sure that your auxiliary machine gun, if your tank does have one, has a good view of the action. Try not to push alone or get yourself in very narrow places, as this makes it very easy for your enemies to kill you with anti-tank equipment. I would also recommend you use your tank to cover APCs, as this is one of the most underused combos in the game and it can single-handedly win you matches. Also, make sure you take advantage of choke points such as bridges and water crossings. This will be your best friend for racking up some easy experience. Number 4. Be properly equipped. Equipment-wise, you want your tanks to have one set of armor-piercing rounds, also known as APCR, and one set of high-explosive rounds. You will use APCR to kill vehicles, although keep in mind that on the higher damage tanks, high-explosive shells deal enough damage to kill cars and motorbikes in one hit also. High explosive is exceptional at killing infantry and clearing small vehicles if used correctly. You can also use it to clear mines that are underwater in case you or your team need to cross a river. I would also recommend you equip all your tanks with a medic box. This is great if you ever need to heal, and also if any teammates are repairing your tank, they'll be grateful for this on-demand healing. For badges, you should always go with mechanic for faster repairs and gunner for higher rate of fire. Other than that, you should also try and have an infantry soldier that has both a wrench and the mechanic badge equipped. This loadout will be great in case you retrieve a tank you lost or if you need to support your fellow tankers. Number 5. Be aware of your matchups. This one is kind of obvious, but I still feel like it needs to be said. Don't be the guy who spawns a light tank against heavy tanks or tank destroyers. As a general rule of thumb, try not to spawn a tank if they are lower tier than what is available to your enemy. Also, try to be aware of the strengths of your tank and play to them. Using a fast tank, outmaneuver your enemy and avoid letting them get clean shots on you. Rolling around in a slow but high damage tank, pick them apart from afar with accurate shots. Spawned in a T-38? I don't know, go for a swim or something, you degenerate piece of... And number 6, don't spam tanks. The last tip for the day, and again quite self-explanatory, if you get in the match and you see your team already has 3 or more tanks, just don't spawn another one. And if we're being totally honest, 3 tanks can be pretty overkill also. Depending on the map lane combination this changes, but in 90% of the situations, having more than 3 tanks is more detrimental than it is helpful. If you insist on playing tank though, I suggest you leave and search for a new match rather than being ineffective and possibly costing your team the win. That is, if you're playing war. If you're in stage, just go nuts. Those are all the tips I have for you guys today. I hope you found them useful, and if you did, don't forget to toss me a like and a subscribe, as it does help out a lot. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment below or ask me when I'm live over at twitch.tv/d22174. Thank you for watching, and until next time, have a good one.